Vamos a ver el trailer. Ok, here we go. Here we go.
Cold flesh, dirt, maggots, and ghosts.
Ok.
Our job is to keep them where they belong. It's your first night, so you'll need this. A ghostly lantern for ghastly tinkering.
¿Esa zona no es la del acto 10? Ok. No se ve cool.
Learn to peer into the souls of the dead. You'll learn how to twist them.
Ok. ¿Está bufeando como los mobs?
Meet me in the necropolis. You can pilfer shiny things from a corpse, but you can pilfer glorious things from a soul.
Puedes robar algunas cosas de un cuerpo, pero puedes sacar cosas gloriosas de un alma. Parece que no es una mecánica en mapas. Varios Passive Tree. Cambiaron los escarabajos. ¿Qué decía ahí? Penultimate Bosses. Magia más transfiguradas. ¡Oh! Oh my god, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that, dude?
In the Necropolis League, you will
Holy
encounter
shit!
Undertaker Aramor, a man collecting the scattered spirits of the Eternal Empire for a mysterious purpose.
Holy shit, dude!
These spirits have begun to haunt the monsters of Rayclast, unleashing their ancient fury and sorrow onto the world. The Undertaker will provide you with the Lantern
Undertaker
of Arrogance,
se llama literal
a
Undertaker,
powerful
man.
family heirloom which can illuminate the wrathful spirits haunting monsters throughout Rayclast. With it, the Undertaker hopes to employ you to rid Rayclast of this menace.
Ok, es muy obvio si me disfrazo al Undertaker. Pero el verdadero.
The lantern can be used when entering any new area. When peering through it, you can examine the spirits haunting that area. The lantern also allows you to manipulate them, letting you configure which monsters are affected by which mods. It would be wise to take your time with your decisions here, for the spirits are not forgiving.
Ok, tú le vas a decir qué monstruos quieres que tengan qué
you can
modificadores.
also see extra details about the packs of monsters in the area. Rowers here are considered common, whereas the water elementals are more scarce. If you want things to be easier, you can put the more difficult spirits on the elementals, which you'll encounter less often.
Dice también qué densidad de algo
by
hay.
engaging with the lantern, you are able to intelligently control the difficulty in the Necropolis League.
Okay,
The
tú
spirits come in
acomodas
a
la
number of forms
dificultad de
which
tus mapas.
represent the danger they pose. For example here, the infested vultures are servant haunted, causing them to deal a small amount of increased damage. But the Vol's Vanguard are noble haunted, causing them to deal a large amount of increased damage. As you reach higher level areas in Rayclast, the tier and number of spirits that are haunting monsters will generally increase. Your game knowledge can help you here. If you're aware of the composition of a monster pack, this means certain mods will be easier to manage. For example, the mod that increases a pack's damage for every monster killed has no effect on packs with a single monster, like a Devourer. However, if we found a spirit that makes the strongest monster in a pack deal 100% more damage, well, I'm going to avoid the Devourer. You might have noticed that the Lantern of Arrogance provides
básicamente organiza esto de tal forma de que no sea más difícil para ti. Mi pregunta es, ¿hay una recompensa por hacerlo más difícil?
Familiar with how these monsters work, this can be a great way to learn what you're up against. The spirits are constantly moving throughout Rayclast, so if you are finding a campaign area too difficult, you can just wait a few minutes and peer through the lantern again to see what's changed. Of course,
parece muy difícil la
powerful
campaña,
spirits beget
puedes
powerful
cambiar
rewards.
y esperar unos minutos y
There
volver
are
a
two reasons
aquí.
why you might want to face a challenge now and then.
Hay una razón para que puedes
not all the
hacer a
spirits are
challenge.
malicious.
No todos los
Sometimes
espíritus
the
son
monsters
maliciosos.
aren't haunted at all. but are instead devoted.
There it is.
These can grant basic rewards like increased experience, or bigger rewards like spawning the Nameless Seer, an NPC that will grant you a single unique item after you
Nameless Seer,
defeat all of the
ese es el de la liga
packs affected by that
pasada.
spirit. The more haunted monsters you defeat in the previous area before using
¿Saben que no lo vi ni una vez en
the
Affliction?
more likely the devoted monsters will appear in the next area. Monsters
Mientras
haunted
más
by
difícil
higher
hagas
tier
una
spirits
zona, la
will
siguiente
increase the
zona tienes más
of the
chance de que salga
devoted
algo bueno.
appearing even more, meaning that sometimes it's worth putting the hardest modifier possible on very common monsters, if you're brave enough. Again, we've tried hard here to allow players to customize the danger and rewards as much as they can. Aramor is an Undertaker, and you can probably guess what we're taking to him.
Y los
The
mapas
second
en
main reward from the Necropolis League is monsters with unresolved anguish. Once slain, their corpses need extra care from the Undertaker, and he will offer to take them back to his necropolis and store them in the morgue.
como bestiary.
Time to earn your keep. When you are ready, you can visit the morgue to view the monsters you have collected, and then get to work burying them in one of many graves in Aramor's cemetery.
Ok,
For
tú vas.
example, we will bury this Katava's Herald.
Vamos a ver.
Aramor's mysterious soul experiments can coalesce powerful items. Here I've chosen to create a pair of boots.
Ok.
Your pains and aid this soldier, so that you may grace them with fleetness.
These boots are useful for my character, but aren't exactly what I
20%
hoped for.
61.
And this is where the Necropolis
Oh,
crafting system really shines.
Necropolis Crafting,
You'll
dude.
have noticed that the corpse we collected earlier had a crafting effect on it. In fact, all collected corpses do. If you bury multiple corpses in the
Dios.
cemetery, all adjacent corpses can be exercised at once to create one item.
Tú puedes
All
necesitar
of the
varios
crafting
cuerpos a la
effects on
vez
those
para
corpses will apply to
aplicar
the
esos
same item.
crafting. Oh my god,
This allows
dude.
you to have either one or many different crafting projects ongoing in the
Ya me
cemetery.
duele el cerebro
For
tratando de entender
example,
esto, me encanta.
next time I try to create boots, I could bury corpses that increase the chance of getting move speed modifiers. To go further,
O sea,
I could use these to
Esto
generate
es
higher tier
fósiles, esencias
Then,
y
I could try to
harvest
bias it towards
en
being
esteroides.
innovation tier with this.
Excel
Finally,
League.
I'll apply some crafting effects that improve the probability of getting good rolls. Now,
Y
let's
rock,
craft our item
punto.
and see what we get.
May the ferocity of Frodana free you of your anguish and aid this soldier, so that you may grace them with fleetness.
As you can see now, we have a much better pair of boots, forged from the souls of our enemies.
No es
You could
tampoco la
even
gran
use the
huevonada, pero
entire
veo monstruos
cemetery to
75,
craft
así que
one
supongo
item.
que hay que
There is
conseguir los más
always
altos.
something you can do to try and ensure your item will be as best as it can be.
Anguish and aid this soldier.
We
¿Son
hope
solo
to see
para
some
raros?
really crazy grave crafts.
Bring their destiny.
If you are lucky, you might find corpses with meta crafting
O sea, este hijo de puta
modifiers.
mostró cómo
These
se
can be
comió como
buried to
500
manipulate
cuerpos a la
your
vez y no me dijo
crafting
qué
projects in
ítem
more
salió de
drastic
ahí.
ways. This one increases the potency of all crafting effects of adjacent undead corpses. Another meta crafting modifier gives a chance to drop an extra item from your craft, with all the same crafting outcomes applied. All you have to do is bury a lot of undead monsters.
Y te dice al lado todos los que va a salir.
Of
Ok.
Frodana free you of your anguish and aid this soldier, so that you may shield them from harm.
Y no me
You
mostró qué
can
fue.
also craft new unique items exclusive to the
New
Necropolis League
unique
using
item.
this system.
Here we go,
As you
vamos a
explore
ver.
Rayclast, you might find the corpses of famous Eternal Empire families. And when you bury an entire family together and exorcise them, they
Toda
will
la
thank
familia
you with a
entera te da
unique
un único.
specific to their lineage.
May the painters and poets of the Navalius family spread the story of the Eternal Empire far and wide, so that all may
For example,
Here
the
we go.
Navalius Inheritance Belt. I'll give you a moment to check that out.
Flash duration, menos
You can use
efecto.
other corpses alongside them to grant implicit mods,
Sí, Killing Radius te
manipulate
dan
the
5
values
de vida
of explicit
también.
mods, and
Okay.
more. In this case, with the Parandus Pact, you can even change the modifiers it
5 al
generates.
máximo life. ¿Será bueno?
This unique is a jewel which adds extra stats to passive skills in a
Tengo que
radius
verlo.
when socketed into the passive skill tree.
Ahí
The
esperando,
stats
por
it adds are
supuesto, como
randomly
siempre, Poe.
generated, but you can bias it towards a specific type by using other crafting effects, such as this one, which increases the chance of getting life modifiers.
Oh, puede ser con
Let's see what
distintas
we get.
cosas. Puede ser con stats. ¿Puede seguir con stats?
Damn, we didn't get it this time. I guess we're gonna have to go and collect more corpses.
Global critical.
Of course,
Yeah.
you can trade the corpses away to other players.
There
All
it
you
is.
need to do is purchase empty coffins from the Undertaker and use them on your corpses in the morgue, which will
Oh my
itemize them.
god. Bestiary vibes.
Another item in the Necropolis
Not
League
in a
that you
good
can
way.
find are Embers of the Allflame. These are monster spirits that remain living in the Allflame, a powerful ancient artifact of Rayclast. And you can set them free by placing them in the Lantern of Arrogance and defeating them. These embers drop throughout Rayclast as itemized packs of monsters. You are able to use these packs to replace the packs in areas. For example, we have found this Allflame Ember of Tarfoa. We can now go
what?
into the next area and replace one of the monster packs in here. You can see we have also gotten one of the devoted modifiers to appear. We can gear up the Karui ancestors with this modifier, making them even more rewarding. Let's go ahead and replace the tentacle miscreations. However, when replacing packs, you want to double check their density, as the new pack will inherit the density of the replaced pack. The Karui ancestors we have now added to our area can even drop basic variations of tattoos. If you aren't aware, this is an item type from the Trial of the Ancestors League, which can be used on passive skills to change what they do. There are many different types of itemized packs. You can find Breach and Legion monsters that drop splinters,
Vale, Splinter, I don't
untainted
care.
packs that provide insane amounts of experience,
Great experience,
and
okay.
even simple frogs, which can be used to replace difficult monsters to make life easier. And of course, these Ember monsters can be raised as specters too.
Ahí tienen
Finally,
Minion Lovers.
let's discuss how this league works in in-game maps.
Ok, ¿cómo funcionan los mapas?
Each in-game map will allow you to manipulate it using the lantern on the map device UI.
De alguna manera,
However,
Empyrean va a
instead of
saber qué
randomly
mapas tiene que
cycling
hacer
every
y
few
cuáles no.
minutes, it is fixed
Gracias
to
a
that
esto.
map. Once you view the map through the lantern, you cannot remove it from the map device. So you can't
De
trade
alguna
that map away
forma,
now that you've seen it as
esto
too
se va a salir de
difficult for you,
control, me.
or has monsters in it that you'd rather avoid, like porcupines. We're also trying something new this time around. During the Necropolis League, there will be support for the league on the Atlas passive tree. Multiple clusters will be there, allowing you to
Esta
enhance
liga
the
va a tener
gameplay,
algo en el
customize
Atlas.
it, and even change its behavior in meaningful ways.
Oh, shit.
One way that you can change the crafting in a
Tienes
meaningful
razón,
way
Bazooka
is
Tank me
with the
refería.
Prospero's Wager Keystone. With this keystone, all the monsters with unresolved anguish come with this crafting modifier, which causes them to generate a random craft when buried. This means instead of pre-planning your crafts, you have to adapt to them on the fly to get the best results.
Oh, todos los
These
monstruos
clusters will
tienen
not be
un
available
craft.
in Standard League.
Todos
In
los
324,
monstruos
we've made a
tienen un
plethora of
craft
changes to the endgame.
por defecto.
With introducing new bosses, adding another tier of maps, and streamlining the Atlas.
Ok, bosses.
The most difficult and most rewarding content in Path of Exile can be found in Uber Pinnacle bosses, such as the Maven and the Searing
La
Exile.
madre que-
Currently, the only way to access these bosses is by allocating specific keystones on the Atlas passive tree. While this system offers a nice element of control, it causes a problem. Rewards and access to the non-Uber variants are now economically priced around the rewards of the Uber fights. This means it is wasteful to run the non-Uber variants instead of simply selling them.
No vale la pena hacer las normales en lugar de venderlas y hacerlas
the
altas.
difficulty jump between the Pinnacle and
Hay una
Uber
gran
Pinnacle
dificultad
content
entre el
was
bajo y el
relatively
alto.
large,
True.
and there
True.
wasn't obvious content that could bridge this gap. Many players would give up on their characters before being able to defeat the Uber Pinnacle bosses. In 324, we will be making some changes to this. We are removing the keystones that give access to the Uber Pinnacle bosses from the Atlas tree, and instead we'll be adding a new set of fragments that give you access to this content. Where do you get these fragments?
De los bosses
We
normales.
are adding a new tier of maps, tier 17 maps, which
Ya
not
17
only give you
mapas.
access to the Uber Pinnacle content, but also test your characters in new ways. They feature a new set of bosses, Uber monsters, and a new tier of modifiers that can roll on the maps.
No es modificable, es como los
5
baldos.
new tier 17 maps in total, with some surprising boss fights at the end. We'll look at a couple today, and the rest you'll have to discover for yourself.
Oh, shit.
First, we have
Dude,
the
I'm
Citadel
hard.
map. This map contains an ancient Kalguran citadel. You will encounter many expedition monsters as the signature packs throughout the map.
Ok.
At the end, you will fight Uber Uhtred, This is a version of a boss from Expedition League, with all its abilities and mechanics enhanced.
Oh, mi sueño se hizo realidad.
You'll even be able to summon 2 other expedition bosses to aid
Oh, mi
it
sueño
during
se hizo
the fight.
realidad.
Secondly, we have the Fortress map. This map is an impregnable fortress, guarded by monsters from the Heist League. At the end, you will encounter an uber version
Esto va a
of
ser
the
completamente nuevo para mí porque yo no jugué esa
Again,
liga de
it
mierda.
has enhanced abilities and mechanics you have to learn and overcome. Each of the Tier 17 map bosses has a chance to drop a unique item, allowing for some target farming. However, these aren't entirely new unique items.
Oh, pero
Instead,
Catarina.
we've taken other unique items, removing them from the core drop pool, and rebalancing them to fit here. One example is this reworked version of Wraith Lord. It has 4 Abyss sockets, and allows you to summon an additional Spectre for each Ghastly Eye Jewel socketed into it. Another example is Mana Storm. This has been rebalanced to grant a lot more damage than before, alongside some more impactful mana stats, if you can get lucky rolls. Alongside adding Tier 17 maps, we have also changed the Uber Pinnacle bosses to have completely distinct unique item drop pools from their non-Uber counterparts. This means there is a reason to farm both versions. Let's take a look at
Va a
the
tener
Shaper
drops
versus the Uber
particulares.
Shaper. The Shaper will drop these uniques: Voidwalker, Shaper's Touch, Solstice Vigil, and Dying Sun.
Eso es lo que te copia el Shaper.
Whereas the Uber Shaper will drop these: Echoes of Creation, Sublime Vision, Entropic Devastation, Starforge, and a new unique belt called the Tides of Time.
Tides of Time. Un life mana utility flash cada tanto tiempo. Tiene
Another
más
example of a
efectos.
new
O
unique
sea, se ve
is
cool
this
en
helmet
realidad.
from the Uber Eater of Worlds, Ravenous Passion, and these gloves from the Uber Searing Exarch, the Celestial
Rage grant
Grace.
cast speed in Rage
Each of the
attack
Uber
speed.
Pinnacle bosses has a new
Oh,
unique
shit.
added to their drop pools. We've identified another major problem with the endgame we'd like to address. With every expansion added to the game, we have been increasing the complexity of running maps. It's at the point now where a player must repeatedly execute a large sequence of steps to run maps efficiently. It can be easy to forget critical steps, and it can be tiring to repeat them.
Cada vez es más difícil
To
hacer
solve
mapas
this, we are
correctamente.
removing some systems,
Vamos a
but
remover algunos
keeping what is
sistemas,
good about them.
pero manteniendo lo
The
que es
two
bueno.
main systems we've
Oh,
removed
shit.
are Sextants and the Master Mission Selector.
Adiós
It
Sextants
is not our intention to dull the content, however.
y adiós a la selección de
reworked
maestros.
Scarabs to include most of the options that were previously covered by those mechanics.
Wow.
And many, many more. Let's take a look at some of them. Commonly, you might find Scarabs that simply grant access to different content. Here, we have a Scarab that causes Beyond Demons to spawn when killing monsters in your maps. And here, we have one that adds a Delirium Mirror. Each type of Scarab now has multiple versions, so if you want to fully invest in a type of content, you can do so. Here's a suite of Ultimatum Scarabs.
5 tiers.
This Ultimatum Scarab adds an Ultimatum encounter to a map. This Ultimatum Scarab of Bribing then causes that Ultimatum encounter to grant better rewards and its monsters to yield more experience. This Ultimatum Scarab of Dueling will cause that Ultimatum encounter to always guarantee the Trial Master boss fight at the end. Assuming you can survive through all the rounds. This Ultimatum Scarab of Catalyzing will cause all rewards from that Ultimatum to be catalysts instead of other rewards. And finally, this Ultimatum Scarab of Inscription will cause all catalyst rewards from that Ultimatum to be inscribed Ultimatums instead. There are plenty of others. If you enjoy Divination card farming, you might want to use these. This Divination Scarab of Curation causes more Divination cards to drop for each different favored map you have selected. But it also causes whatever map you're running to only drop Divination cards from those favored maps. So if you want to try and aim for your Mage Blood and don't want to just farm Crimson Temple, then this Scarab is for you. This Divination Scarab of Completion causes your Divination cards to have a 20% chance to drop as a full stack instead.
Full stack de cartas. Eso es lo que se acaba de farmear MP.
There are now just a lot of Scarabs. You might have also noticed that they no longer have tiers. Scarabs are now all world drops. You can get them anywhere. Some might be rarer than others, but the intention is that there'll be a lot more options than before, and more interesting combinations to consider. If you want to target specific Scarabs, Betrayal has been updated to include most of them, and you will need to relearn which ones come from where. While this system is allowing you to heavily invest in one type of content, it is reducing your capacity for variety. To address this, we have massively increased access to content on the Atlas passive tree. You are now able to reliably get
Buffearon todo
different
el
legends
Atlas
like Breach
porque
or
cambiaron
Legion
los
from just
escarabajos.
your Atlas passives. Regarding master missions, content such as Incursion, Delve, Betrayal, and Bestiary, these too are now accessible with Scarabs, and have more reliable investment options on the tree. Not only this, you can now get Jun, Einhar, Alva, and Nico to appear together in the same map.
Para hacer todos
We
los...
have also removed some keystones such as
Una
Wandering
keystone.
Path,
Wandering
Grand
Path?
Design, and Growing Hordes.
Ooh.
But I've added some new ones too.
Wandering
For example,
Path.
Unwavering Vision,
Oh, esto tengo que leerlo después. 20%
Back to
skill points.
Basics,
My probably have to 0 to
and Thorough
80%.
Exploration.
Fear more than final boss and appear power by affliction. Wisp!
And we have added some new notables such as Remarkable Relics,
¿Qué?
which allows you to try find better variants of
Affliction Wisp?
Scarabs.
Eso hay que leerlo, ya va.
Mounting modifiers, which increases the
Estoy
values of
overloaded de mi
modifiers on
cerebro.
your
Ya va.
maps by 2% for each explicit modifier. And Tainted Carapaces, which is just one in a set of many that allow you to target farm specific types of Scarabs. These are just a few of the many new notables that can be
Jesus,
found on
dude.
the Atlas passive skill tree.
Ok.
Lastly, we are giving you more flexibility
Le
in
hicieron
what
bien en
content
los
you want
mapas.
to run in the endgame.
O por nos parece
In
así, a nivel teórico
3.24,
parece
you
muy
can now
bien.
have multiple copies of the Atlas tree, which can be swapped between maps at your leisure. You can unlock
Y le
up to
puede-
2 extra trees for a total of 3
BMF
by
trap.
progressing through the endgame and completing core content. When you open a map, you can select which tree you would like to use.
Oh,
For a given
sí.
league, you'll never feel constrained to playing your endgame a single way. You can also label your trees to easily identify which one has which content.
Oh, dude.
With all this combined,
Oh, I
we're
came.
hoping to see new endgame strategies shine through. While playing through the campaign in 3.24, you'll notice a
Haz lo que
myriad
quieras
of
en la
small
campaña,
improvements
está bien.
and surprises.
Está todo
The
bien.
fundamentals of the campaign are
No
still
me importa
intact,
lo que hagan
but
aquí.
we've scattered fun encounters
Ahora te vamos a
and
hacer
secrets
la
throughout
campaña con una
Raid
pija dentro de 30 centímetros, no me
The
importa.
Dweller of the
El ending
Deep
está
has
tan
been
bueno que no me
trapped.
importa.
What are these ritual shrines doing in the northern forest?
¿Rituales acá?
And why are they giving me omens?
Omens en la campaña.
This device looks safe. I should definitely use this on my items.
Doble corrupción en la
There are
campaña.
plenty more encounters to discover. We'll continue adding more surprises in future releases, so keep an eye out. In the previous expansion, 3.23, we released a large number of transfigured skill gems.
Hasta ahora parece bien. Añadieron
These are
sistemas
alternate
ahí.
versions of existing skill gems that function
Está
in
bien.
very different ways, allowing for more build and gameplay variety. At the time, our
Ese sí que no se
aspirations
veía
were
cool.
higher than we could achieve. We planned more gems than we could make. So, in 3.24, we're adding another set of transfigured gems that we have now finished. Ice Shot, Incinerate, Artillery Ballista, Tornado, Elemental Hit, Kinetic Blast,
Elemental Hit.
Poisonous Concoction, and lastly, Summon Holy Relic.
Y Blazing Salvo.
Hopefully those of you who missed your favorite skill having a transfigured variant will get that here. We
Pero
will certainly be adding more of these in the
y
future.
Blazing Salvo
especially
todavía
for
no
skills that are
está.
missing them still. Of course, we'll also be doing a balance pass on the existing transfigured gems.
Balance, o sea,
One
van a
of the main
nerfear.
ones we're looking at is Kinetic Bolt of Fragmentation.
Ajá.
As a result of this change, it is clear that the endgame potential of the Wander archetype really starts to suffer, mostly in the single target damage department. Due to this, we've added the new support gem, Sacred Wisps. This support gem causes supported skills to create 2 attached wisps for a duration. With these wisps, whenever you attack, they have a chance to also use the same skill, if you have enemies in your presence. And if there are any rare or unique
shit.
enemies, they will always use the skill.
Oh, eso está cool.
That leads us into all the other quality of life features we're introducing in 3.24.
shit.
And there's a shitload of them. Many of these have been revealed in teasers already,
Alright.
but here's a quick summary. We've added the automation and call to arms skill
Automation.
gems,
A ver este
for
lado.
being able to trigger instant skills and war cries without having to bind them to left click. You can now hold down control and left click to automatically apply certain currency orbs until they achieve the desired result, or you run out. For example, you can hold down fusings until you reach maximum links. You will be able to
A ver,
control,
viendo qué más hay.
shift, click currency into a trade window to automatically move all of that currency at once from your inventory.
Man, Stacker mostraron un item.
Detonate Dead now has clearer
Ya lo
telegraphing
vimos.
effects.
Nuevas trans. New
When
OP
harvest
Unix.
crafting, the
Se veía
item
bastante
hover
fuerte el
will
otro.
always be visible, so you no longer have to mouse back and forth to see the results
Nerfs,
of your
adjust,
crafts.
rebalance. Yep.
When you use a Val orb on a map, the map no longer has
Crossplay,
a chance to
not
become
really.
unidentified. Instead,
Atlas.
it adds a new implicit. We've created a set of implicits that affect the areas in fun ways.
New gems, parece que no hay más,
Related to
no hay más
that,
nuevas.
corrupted and mirrored items can now be identified. Breach hands now open upon approach,
Okay.
and no longer need to be clicked.
New currency.
Upgrades to Pantheon powers now apply
También ya
to
lo
all
dijeron.
characters in a league. You no
Nuevas
longer need to
bases.
grind
Okay,
divine
creo que hasta
vessels
ahí
on
hasta
each
ahora.
new character.
Bien,
With
veamos.
harvest crafting, you can now re-roll Uber Elder fragments.
Ok.
Fragments dropped by the Shaper cannot be re-rolled into fragments dropped by the
Bien,
Elder,
bien. Ajá,
and
sí, sí,
vice
sí.
versa.
Lo que nos has mostrado, por favor.
Regarding Betrayal, we're removing Ashling's crafting bench as a reward.
Yeah.
Instead, Veiled Orbs now perform that function. They remove a mod and replace it with a Veiled mod. These orbs now drop from Katarina and
Sí,
are
sí,
no
sí, sí.
longer a world drop. Flasks can now be corrupted by Val orbs,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ajá.
giving random
Let's go.
-10 to +10 quality. The
Show me the new
capability to add
shit.
Extra quality to weapons, armors, and flasks.
The
has
new
been
shit.
removed
Eso
from
es lo que quiero
Betrayal.
ver.
The Betrayal bench craft that converts an amulet to a talisman has been moved to Bestiary, and thus can be traded.
Yes.
Maven invitations no longer drop. Instead,
Ya no dropean
when you have
invitaciones.
completed witnessing all
Kirak
bosses
las tiene.
required to go to the Maven's arena, you can just talk to Kirak, and he'll open a map device window with the invitation already in there, ready
Okay.
to be rolled. Valdo's maps that granted invitations now give Scarabs. No more having to waste Guardian kills to try get invitations to drop.
Ok.
Next up, we're going to
Wait,
be
no
talking
mostraron
about
nada
our
nuevo.
new League supporter packs. Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs.
Vamos a ver la
the
meta.
Solar
¿Cuál
and
es?
Eldritch packs.
Let's see. Vamos a ver las
Each
metas
tier
del
contains the
stream.
full pack's face value in points, alongside
Let's
several
see.
exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available for the duration of the Necropolis League,
Vamos
and
a
will
ver.
leave the store forever when it ends. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are
Yeah,
purely
yeah, yeah.
cosmetic
Show me the
and do
shit.
not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Solar series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The
Ok.
Cosmos weapon effect adorns your weapon with stars. Hitting enemies causes cosmic energy to spill out into the area around them. The Radiant Orb of Chance extra effect projects the outcome of items you've used an Orb of Chance on above your head.
Oro chance. A ver, lo que nunca voy a
Remember to
usar.
congratulate other exiles in town if you see them chance a powerful unique item. Shine boldly with the Solar Knight armor set.
Oh, eso se ve
The
cool en
power
realidad.
of the sun radiates from your body, getting more and more intense as you use skills and emitting solar flares as you run.
Alright, I like
With the
it.
supernova
Se ve
level
cool.
up extra effect,
Pero-
the dead will be raised from the ground around you, before being obliterated and turned to ash by an epic supernova whenever you level up.
Ah, no, subes de nivel.
This one is my
Oh.
personal favorite. The Cosmic Turtle Hideout lets you travel the infinite expanse of the cosmos atop the back of a colossal turtle. Carry the
Oh,
weight of the sun on your back with the Solar Guardian back
I
attachment.
want that shit.
Witness it grow larger and larger as the energy of slain enemies is funneled into it. When it reaches its maximum size, it goes supernova and turns into a black hole, forever drifting throughout Rayclast. The Eldritch Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. Are you wondering if we moved the stash in the latest patch? Don't be fooled, because with the Mimic Stash Pet, players can transform into an image of a stash when in a town or hideout, and scare unsuspecting exiles. This pet follows behind you with its terrifying hand-walking the rest of the time.
Un mimic.
The Shaper's Slam finisher effect
Puedes baitear a
sends
gente.
slain unique enemies into a
Final abyss of unending darkness.
Ok, el Shaper está cool.
The Eldritch Hunger armor set contains a beast that demands you to feed it by embracing your bloodlust. Watch it grow in power the more you kill until it bursts from the shell of the helmet. Are you able to satiate its hunger?
Referencia a Vox Machina.
The seed within the Corrupted Growth map device expands its grasp on your hideout, the more maps you complete on your Atlas. Equipping the Headhunter character effect causes skulls of slain rare enemies to whirl around you like trophies. They become enraged when you are near a rare enemy you are yet to kill, wishing for them to join your collection. Witness a reality where the struggle didn't exist, allowing the Eldritch Horrors to settle their own conflicts with the Eldritch Horror Apparition effect. Which of the Eater of Worlds or Searing Exarch do you think will win? These packs are now available for purchase on both PC and console,
el Mimic
and will remain
cool.
so during Path of Exile
Y la tortuga.
Necropolis. Meanwhile, the Shade and Disciple packs leave the store forever at the launch of Necropolis League, so now's your last chance to purchase them. Thank you so much for your ongoing support.
Damn.
We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards,
Ese Hunter debería estar en Kirak.
Necropolis'
Sí, tú has estado en el Kirak. El actual es bueno, pero no es tan bueno.
Our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for Necropolis' release. Keep an eye on the news. On release weekend, we expect to launch the new mystery box and this season's Kerax Vault Pass.
Oh, no le puedes escribir
Thank you
a
for joining us
Bauchi.
today and checking out our latest developments.
Oh,
We're looking forward to doing some awesome gravecrafts and conquering the new endgame bosses with you next week. We'll begin the Q&A
Interesante.
shortly, so please get your questions ready.